All right, let's dive in. We're tackling Brian Tracy's No Excuses, The Power of Self-Discipline today.
Who could pick?
Our source material is going to be chapters from the book itself,
Okay.
focusing on how self-discipline impacts success in your personal life,
Yeah.
professional life, finances, even parenting.
It's interesting because Tracy goes beyond just saying self-discipline is good.
Yeah, totally.
He links it directly to success.
Mm-hmm.
He's arguing it's not about luck,
Uh-huh.
but a cause and effect relationship.
It's like that story he tells about meeting that older gentleman at the conference.
Right.
Who emphasized the importance of thinking long term.
Oh, yeah.
As like a key differentiator between those who achieve success and those who don't.
Right. They don't just dream of a better future.
Right.
They actively shape it through consistent, disciplined actions.
So no eating dessert first mentality.
Exactly.
I thought that was a really thought-provoking point.
Yeah.
About instant gratification weakening us.
It's interesting.
He contrasts that with like the force of nature
Mhm.
we can become through self-discipline.
And one way to cultivate that is through his 3% rule.
Okay.
And this isn't just about setting aside money.
Right.
It's about investing 3% of your income
Okay.
back into learning and development.
So you're not just earning more.
It constantly
You're becoming more valuable.
becoming more valuable. Exactly.
It's like that story he shares
Yeah.
about the young man who started with just $600
Uh-huh.
and saw his income skyrocket.
Yeah.
By applying this principle.
It takes a shift in mindset.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, are there any limitations to this approach?
Most people equate money with immediate enjoyment.
Right.
It takes discipline to break free from that.
Yeah, for sure.
And his financial freedom account
Okay.
tackles this head on. Even with a small starting amount, it encourages you to cultivate a sense of control
Okay.
and long-term financial security.
And then there's that, I think it was called the wedge principle. That was saving 50% of every income increase. It seems like such a huge chunk to put aside.
As your income grows,
Right.
do your needs necessarily increase at the same rate?
That's a good point.
The wedge principle helps create a buffer between your income and your expenses,
Right.
accelerating your journey toward financial freedom.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit.
Okay?
Let's talk about the courage connection.
Right.
We all have fears,
Mm-hmm.
but Tracy suggests they can be unlearned.
That's right.
Yeah.
He advocates for confronting fears head on,
Like just jumping right in.
Yeah.
Okay.
using systematic approaches.
Okay.
Like those practiced in Toastmasters, where they help people overcome their fear of public speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Using desensitization.
Yeah, it's like repeatedly exposing yourself
Yeah.
to what you fear
It's-
can diminish its power.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that example
Oh, yeah.
Tracy gives about the sales team that rewards getting rejected first thing in the morning.
Bold move.
Yeah, instead of fearing it.
Embrace it as a necessary step
Yeah.
toward success.
Yeah.
So it's not about becoming fearless. It's about...
Reframing your relationship with fear.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move into the realm of time management.
Okay.
Tracy introduces this concept of return on energy.
Yeah.
Similar to how businesses focus on return on equity.
We need to be strategic with our personal energy, too.
Okay, yeah.
Just like companies invest capital for maximum returns, we should invest our time and effort in activities that yield the greatest personal and professional dividends.
Right, those 5 key questions
Yeah.
that he has for prioritizing.
To prioritize ruthlessly.
Yeah. It seems like he specifically highlights the A1 task
Yeah.
and how focusing on it until completion
Yeah.
can be a game changer.
You gotta assess each task's urgency
What if you have like multiple important tasks though?
and impact and prioritize.
Oh.
Sometimes it's about making tough choices.
And recognizing that we can't do everything at once.
Okay, so discipline in this context is about, like...
Consciously directing your energy
Yeah.
toward what matters most.
Okay. Let's talk relationships now.
Sure.
Tracy emphasizes the importance of compatibility.
Especially temperament compatibility.
Okay.
For long-lasting love.
He stresses the importance of honesty.
Open communication.
Open communication, yeah.
And truly listening to your partner.
He had that funny analogy about
yeah.
men and women's communication styles.
Comparing them, he suggests men use 2 brain centers while women use 7.
Right, like 2 headlights versus...
Men have 2 headlights.
Yeah.
While women have a fully lit Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
But how do we bridge that gap?
He suggests 4 powerful questions
Okay.
that couples can ask each other regularly to foster understanding and connection.
Okay.
It's not about placing blame,
Right.
but about fostering empathy, and deeper appreciation.
So shifting gears to parenting now,
Yeah.
Tracy makes a strong statement that parenting has consequences that can impact generations.
He uses the example of his golfer friend
Oh, yeah.
who had to reprioritize after having children,
Right.
showing that even personal passions need to take a backseat
Yeah.
to the responsibility
The responsibility, right.
as parenthood,
He emphasizes leading by example.
especially in controlling anger,
Right.
as children often model their parents' behavior.
He shares that powerful statement. Children will behave the way you behave for the rest of their lives.
It's about recognizing that our actions have a ripple effect,
Yeah.
not just on our children, but on future generations.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And speaking of striving for our best selves,
Right.
one of the most powerful concepts Tracy introduces
Yeah.
is the idea that the key to successful relationships is making others feel important.
He argues that feeling important is a fundamental human need.
And when we focus on fulfilling that need in others,
Right.
we create a positive and supportive environment that fosters growth and connection.
So this isn't just about being nice.
He provides 7 practical ways to make people feel important,
Okay.
including accepting them as they are,
Mm-hmm.
praising their efforts,
Okay.
encouraging their dreams,
Yeah.
and truly listening to their thoughts and feelings.
He also stresses the importance of avoiding.
Criticism, condemnation, and complaints.
Is that realistic?
It's not about becoming someone you're not
Right.
or pretending to be positive all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
It's about being mindful of our words and actions
Right.
and choosing to focus on the positive aspects of others
Right.
and ourselves.
So it's not about suppressing negative emotions.
Exactly.
But rather about.
Consciously choosing to uplift and empower others.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even when it comes to making others feel important,
Comes back to self-discipline.
it comes back to self-discipline.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And that's just the beginning.
Right.
We still have so much to unpack when it comes to the profound impact self-discipline can have on our lives,
Yeah, I'm excited.
from conquering fear to finding inner peace.
Absolutely.
Are you ready to keep diving deeper?
Yes, definitely. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm excited to explore
Okay.
more of Tracy's insights
Yeah.
and see how we can apply them.
Then let's continue our journey
Yeah.
to the power of self-discipline.
So we were talking about making others feel important,
Right.
which is a really interesting idea.
It is.
And it kind of goes back to
Yeah,
this idea of self-discipline in a way.
it really does.
So I thought it was interesting how Tracy connected self-discipline to inner peace.
It's not about becoming some kind of emotionless robot.
Right.
He suggests that
Right, exactly.
self-discipline
It's not like, yeah,
is a pathway
it's not about deprivation.
to experience greater joy
Yeah.
and fulfillment.
Okay, so how do we get there?
He emphasizes that true happiness
Yeah.
comes from aligning your self-image with your self-ideal.
Okay.
This isn't just about positive thinking.
Right, it's about action.
It's about taking consistent, disciplined action.
It made me think about that section where
Yeah.
he talks about the 5 ingredients of happiness.
Yeah.
Which were health, relationships, meaningful work, financial security, and self-actualization.
Absolutely.
And it seems like self-discipline is the key to achieving that balance.
When there's a shortfall in any of those areas,
Yeah.
it can create stress and unhappiness.
Yeah.
Self-discipline is about making choices that support our well-being across all these areas,
Okay.
even when they're difficult.
Yeah. And he also stresses the importance of,
Continuous learning.
yeah, he calls it the 3% factor.
Investing 3% of your income back into your development
Right.
can have a significant impact.
But couldn't that lead to information overload?
Well, he emphasizes the importance of translating knowledge into action.
Okay.
It's not enough to just read books or attend seminars.
Right.
We need to actively apply what we learn,
And it's about becoming,
a more effective and capable individual,
right, yeah.
through the disciplined application of knowledge.
Okay, let's go back to the topic of fear for a moment. I'm kind of intrigued by Tracy's assertion that fear is a learned response and can be unlearned.
You have to differentiate between rational fear
Okay.
and irrational fear.
Yeah.
Rational fear keeps us safe from harm.
Right, of course.
Irrational fear
Yeah.
holds us back
Okay.
from pursuing our goals
Right.
and living a fulfilling life.
So it's the irrational fears that we're focusing on here.
The ones that stem from limiting beliefs and negative self-talk.
Okay, so he encourages us to confront those fears head on.
Just like that sales team
Yeah.
that rewards getting rejected first thing in the morning.
Such a memorable example.
It's about shifting our perspective on fear
Yeah.
and recognizing that it often loses its power
Right.
when we confront it directly by repeatedly exposing ourselves
Right.
to what we fear.
We can gain a sense of mastery over it.
Exactly.
Almost like training our brains.
Rewiring those neural pathways.
Yeah, okay.
Creating new patterns of thought.
Now let's dive into the financial realm.
Okay.
I was struck by that statistic Tracy shares
Yeah.
that only 1 in 100 people achieve financial freedom by retirement.
The pretty shocking statistic.
At least so few people reach that goal.
Most people are conditioned to spend, not save.
Right.
We're constantly bombarded with messages
Yeah, it's true.
that equate happiness with material possessions.
He mentions Parkinson's law.
Yeah.
Expenditures rise to meet income.
Yeah. Even as we earn more,
Right.
we find ways to spend more
Yeah.
without necessarily increasing our level of happiness.
So he introduces the financial freedom account.
Encourages us to set aside a portion of our income
Right.
specifically for building wealth,
Okay.
even if you can't start with 50%.
Right, because that wedge principle did seem...
The key is to consistently increase your savings rate
Right.
as your income grows.
So it's a long game, not a quick fix.
Shifting our mindset from immediate gratification
Yeah.
to delayed gratification.
Oh.
Understanding that the sacrifices we make today can lead to greater financial freedom
Yeah, that makes sense.
and security in the future.
So speaking of long-term thinking,
Yeah.
Tracy offers some interesting insights into building lasting relationships.
Emphasizing the importance of compatibility,
Right.
particularly temperament compatibility.
Couldn't that limit our choices, though?
It's not about finding a carbon copy of yourself.
Right.
It's about recognizing that certain personality traits are more conducive to harmonious relationships.
Okay.
For example, if you're highly introverted
Yeah.
and value solitude,
Right.
partnering with someone who thrives on social interaction
Right.
might create friction over time.
He also stresses the importance of honesty.
Open communication
Yeah.
and truly listening.
He even uses that analogy about men using 2 headlights and women a fully lit Christmas tree when it comes to communication.
Men tend to be more focused and linear,
Yeah.
while women are more multifaceted.
So it's not about saying one's better.
Exactly.
It's about...
Recognizing and appreciating those differences.
How do we actually apply that, though?
He suggests those 4 powerful questions that couples can ask each other
Right.
regularly
Okay.
to foster understanding,
Yeah.
empathy, and connection.
Okay.
It's about creating a space for open and honest dialogue.
Let's shift gears to parenting now.
Okay?
Tracy reminds us that parenting has consequences that can span generations.
It highlights the profound impact we
Yeah.
have on our children's lives
Yeah, for sure.
and the importance of approaching parenthood
Okay.
with intention
Yeah.
and a commitment to personal growth.
That makes me think about the anecdote
Yeah.
about his golfer friend.
Who had to shift his priorities after having children?
Right.
Life throws curveballs. We need to be adaptable,
Right.
willing to make adjustments as our roles evolve.
Children will behave the way you behave for the rest of their lives.
It's not about saying that parents are solely responsible for their children's behavior.
Right. Of course.
However, our actions do have a profound impact
Yeah.
on their development and the values they internalize.
Okay.
Children learn by observing.
Yeah.
The home environment plays a crucial role
Okay.
in shaping their worldview.
And speaking of striving for our best selves,
Right.
one of the most powerful concepts Tracy introduces is that idea that the key to successful relationships is making others feel important.
He argues that feeling important
Yeah.
is a fundamental human need.
Right.
And when we focus on fulfilling that need in others,
Right.
we create a positive and supportive environment
Okay.
that fosters growth and connection,
He provides 7 practical ways.
accepting them as they are,
Okay.
praising their efforts, encouraging their dreams,
Yeah.
and truly listening to their thoughts and feelings.
He also emphasizes avoiding.
Criticism, condemnation, and complaints.
But isn't there a time and place for constructive criticism?
It's about being mindful of our intentions
Okay.
and approach.
Okay.
Criticism, when delivered with empathy and a desire to help someone improve,
Right.
can be valuable.
Okay. Yeah.
However, it's often more effective
Yeah.
to focus on what someone's doing well
Yeah, that's true.
and encourage their growth.
So it's about shifting our perspective from fault finding to appreciation.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about creating a culture of encouragement and support.
And that brings us to another crucial aspect of self-discipline,
Yeah.
the ability to solve problems.
He outlines a 7-step problem-solving process.
Yeah. What if you're facing a problem that just seems like insurmountable.
He emphasizes the importance of shifting from a reactive mindset
Okay.
to a proactive one.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of dwelling on the problem,
Right.
we need to actively seek solutions.
Right.
Problems are inevitable. It's our ability to effectively solve them
That determines our success.
that determines our success.
So it's not about avoiding problems, but rather about...
Developing the skills and mindset to navigate them effectively.
And that leads us to one of the most profound concepts I think he explores in the book.
The idea that forgiveness is essential for inner peace.
Yeah.
He challenges the common misconception that forgiveness is something we do for others.
Right.
Forgiveness is actually a selfish act.
It's about freeing ourselves.
It's about freeing ourselves from the emotional baggage.
But that's so hard.
Forgiveness is a process.
Okay.
Forgiveness is a choice
Yeah.
to release the anger and resentment.
Right.
He suggests asking ourselves,
Yeah.
how much will this matter 5 years from now?
That's a good question.
It's a way to gain perspective
Okay.
and detach from those petty annoyances.
Okay.
He also recommends reading spiritual and uplifting material.
Isn't that a bit prescriptive, though?
It's not about imposing a specific belief system on anyone. It's about recognizing the power of positive input,
Okay.
whether it's reading, meditation, spending time in nature, or engaging in creative activities.
So it's about being intentional.
Choosing to focus on those things that uplift and inspire us.
Okay, so that makes sense.
It's about recognizing
Yeah.
that we have the power to choose our thoughts and emotions,
Okay, yeah.
to create a mental and emotional environment
That's a powerful thought.
that supports our well-being.
And it leads us to another important aspect
Yeah.
of self-discipline.
Detachment.
Right.
Detach from material possessions
Okay.
and from the opinions of others.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming indifferent.
Okay.
It's about cultivating a sense of inner stillness
Okay.
amidst the chaos of life.
And that sounds a lot like mindfulness.
Very much aligned with that concept.
Right.
True happiness comes from within,
Okay. Yeah.
not from external validation
Right.
or material possessions.
Okay, but how do we cultivate that sense of detachment?
It's a practice.
Okay.
Start small,
Okay.
focusing on one area
Okay.
where you feel particularly attached,
Okay.
and gradually practicing detachment in that area.
So like baby steps.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you're overly attached to your phone,
Right.
try setting aside specific times each day where you disconnect.
Okay.
Or, if you're overly concerned with what others think,
Yeah.
practice expressing your authentic self,
That's a good point.
even if it means going against the grain.
So gradually shifting our focus from external validation
Yeah.
to internal
It's
validation.
eternal validation, exactly.
And that brings us to one of the most fundamental aspects.
Self-awareness.
Right.
He encourages us to take a deep look at ourselves,
Yeah.
to identify our strengths and weaknesses,
Okay.
understand our values and motivations,
Yeah.
and to recognize the patterns
Yeah.
that are holding us back.
But isn't that like really daunting?
Self-awareness is not about judgment
Okay.
or self-criticism.
Okay.
It's about understanding ourselves better, recognizing our patterns of thought and behavior,
Okay.
and making conscious choices.
So it's like being the CEO of our own lives.
Becoming the CEO of our own lives, as Tracy puts it,
Right.
making decisions that align with our vision
Okay.
for ourselves.
And it all starts with self-discipline.
It all starts with self-discipline.
It's a lot to take in, right? All this stuff about self-discipline. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great,
It is.
but it can be a little bit overwhelming.
That's where that emphasis on starting small comes in.
Okay.
Remember the 1% rule?
Yeah, for saving.
It's not about making drastic changes overnight.
Right.
It's about those little incremental changes.
Right. So we don't have to overhaul our entire lives immediately.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can focus on those small changes.
It's like just one new habit each week or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Choose one specific area
Right.
where you're most motivated to make a change
Okay.
and set a small, achievable goal.
Like if procrastination is a struggle, just try to tackle that A1 task first every day.
Right. Or if you want to improve your relationships,
Right.
commit to practicing those 4 powerful questions
Yeah, those were great.
with your partner.
Yeah, it's much less daunting.
As you experience success,
Yeah.
it can create momentum,
Right.
inspire you to tackle bigger challenges.
He also talks about creating systems.
You got to have systems that support those goals.
Right. So it's not just about good intentions.
Right.
We have to actually put things in place
Structures and routines
to make it easier to stick to it.
make it easier to follow through.
So like planning out your week. Setting aside time for important tasks.
Getting rid of distractions.
Yeah, exactly. Getting rid of those distractions.
Be proactive.
Right.
Set yourself up for success.
And then there's self-care.
Right.
Which is something I think a lot of people forget about.
Yeah.
When they're so focused on being disciplined.
It's not just about pushing ourselves. It's about taking care of ourselves.
Yeah. And he has those 5 Ps.
5 Ps of excellent health.
Right. For excellent health.
Proper weight.
Right.
Proper diet.
Proper exercise.
Proper exercise.
Proper rest.
Proper rest.
And personal peace of mind.
Personal peace of mind.
I know he has some strong opinions about diet.
He talks about eliminating sugar, salt, and flour.
Yeah, the 3 white poisons.
It's not about striving for perfection.
Right.
Or following a rigid diet.
Yeah.
It's about being mindful.
Okay, so being mindful of our choices.
Understand how those choices impact us.
Yeah.
Our energy levels,
right.
our mood,
right.
Overall health.
So even small changes can make a difference.
Even small changes can make a big difference.
And exercise, too, doesn't have to be anything crazy.
A brisk walk each day,
even just a walk,
can provide significant benefits.
Yeah, okay.
Self-discipline is not about punishment or deprivation.
It's about empowerment.
It's about empowerment.
Okay.
Creating a life that is truly fulfilling.
And joyful. So, if we could sum it all up, the main takeaway
from No Excuses.
It's
that success, happiness, and fulfillment.
They're not random.
They're not random occurrences.
Right.
They are the result of
conscious choices.
Okay. And disciplined actions.
Consistently applied over time.
It's a journey of continuous self-improvement.
Yeah.
But the rewards are immeasurable.
And as we cultivate greater self-discipline,
you'll discover a newfound sense of empowerment.
Yeah, I like that.
Confidence and inner peace.
That will really impact everything.
That will impact every area of your life.
So we encourage you to reflect on what you heard today.
What resonated most with you?
Yeah, what resonated?
What's one small step you can take?
Yeah, what's one small step?
To harness the power of self-discipline.
To harness that power.
In your own life.
Remember,
no excuses. Every journey begins with a single step.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.
And keep striving for that best version of yourself.